Last season on Compact Conflicts, the War for New England ended in defeat for the American cause. After months of fighting, British forces secured New England, capturing key towns such as Boston, and pushed the Continental Army south into New Jersey. But the rebellion is far from crushed. Now the war moves into the Middle Colonies, a land of vital rivers, major cities, and critical supply routes. Control here could shape the future of the entire conflict. New and old commanders will take the field, and a new campaign begins. Welcome to the Middle Colonies. Our campaign begins in August 1777, with the British controlling New York all the way to Canada, and the rebels controlling Pennsylvania all the way south to Virginia. We will have new and old commanders this season. Leading the British forces, we have General Worthington, or JT, with his sub-commander, General Colvin. For the Americans, we have returning with us once again, we have General Schwantz, freshly returned from Philadelphia from his disgrace in the northern colonies, with his sub-commander, General Waller, in support. Now let's look at the war goals for both sides, to be completed by December 1779. The British must capture the major cities of Williamsburg, Philadelphia, and Baltimore, with the capture of Continental Congress if possible. The rebels have the opposite objective. They must hold Williamsburg, Philadelphia, and Baltimore, with a side objective to recapture New York City if practicable. This is our new campaign map. And though this entire map will be in play for the duration of the campaign, let's focus on a smaller portion here, the New Jersey, Pennsylvania, New York area. This is where today's campaign will be mostly taking place, though it could swap later in the season. In the beginning, the Americans had most of their forces spread out, northern New Jersey, southern New Jersey, and western Pennsylvania, while British forces have theirs mainly concentrated in the New York, Stony Point area. The American commanders will begin the campaign with a frenzy of activity, repositioning units north, consolidating units, really trying to bring the army together. The naval aspect will also be in play this campaign, and our American commanders have elected to send 2 frigates on a secret mission out into the Atlantic. While building a secret weapon in Philadelphia, the Americans have also decided to use a unique method for recruitment.
We're going to do an old-fashioned impressment.
Okay.
I'm going to need, and by need, I'm forcing. This happened all the time back then. Look it up in history. I'm going to press 3 companies we're going to make them into regulars. That's going to be out of Philadelphia.
Okay, so you're going to randomly grab people off the street and say, hey, you're going to the Continental Army?
Anybody who has some loyalist leanings, yeah, actually I am.
Let me roll a diplomatic roll. Alright, you'll get the results of that next turn. Kidnapping people off the street, preferably loyalists, roger that.
Not kidnapping. We're doing a recruiting drive / you can't really say no to.
With the Americans on turn 1 already working to draft and impress soldiers into their service, let's see what the British are doing during their campaign move.
I'd like to send out a delegation for my unit here to the closest tribe.
Okay.
In attempts to strike a deal. I would like to, in exchange for any information in the area of any rebel troop movements, in exchange, should they be attacked or face any trouble with said forces, we will supply defense for them. Other than that, we will leave them be.
And just like that, on turn 1, the British have already secured the friendship of Native Americans in western New York. Now let's look at the tactical map. A big thing to remember is that there is fog of war in our campaign, so the British do not know where the Americans are, and the Americans do not know where the British are. So in order to determine that, we're going to be seeing a lot of scouting moves in this campaign. The British will take their ships, sail them past Newark, New Jersey, in order to see what's in the town. As these ships sail up the Hudson, the British will detach a dragoon troop to cross the Delaware River into eastern Pennsylvania, trying to ascertain rebel whereabouts, strength, movements. Each campaign turn normally takes a week. For simplicity reasons, we've combined all this week 1 through 4, as the beginning stages of campaign are mainly paperwork and administration. But through all this intelligence, the British have seemed to find a single isolated American regiment in Newark, New Jersey. And so they decide on a two-pronged attack, one assault from land and the other assault being via the sea. With the Royal Navy ruling the waves, they will surely have the firepower and capabilities to do this. And the American commanders are not prepared for this. As the British began approaching Newark from land and from sea, the American commanders began discussing should they stay or should they leave. They were in breastworks, however the Royal Navy off the coast had the artillery to drive them out. So let's see what our American commanders decide to do.
Pretty bad plan, what you thinking?
Leave.
All right.
Just leave.
Just retreat, I guess, because we can't do anything with Navy off our coast that can fire that far inland.
Okay, British commanders, you receive a courier on a white flag.
A Corporal Doolittle.
Corporal Doolittle, still alive, surprisingly.
Lots of relatives.
Requesting a meeting to perhaps parley.
Okay.
Parley accepted, you guys have now met.
Leave the town. We'll give you the town. We're going to retreat.
We'll just pull out. We're done.
Pull out.
No, nothing else than that. We'll give you the town.
Nobody needs to die for New Jersey.
We're going to Philadelphia.
Cannot stress that again. No.
Not worth dying for. And you said you'll pull back to Pennsylvania?
I mean, who wants to die in New Jersey?
Nobody wants to die in New Jersey.
Exactly. I think you see my point.
After much deliberation, we find your terms acceptable. More than welcome to leave the city.
Let's get the hell out of here, boys!
After this, American forces will rapidly retreat south. On the major campaign map, we start to see more American units arriving. 2 new regiments in Delaware and Maryland being raised, with several militia companies being raised in western Pennsylvania. So with that, let's look at force breakdowns. A regiment generally equals 360 to 400 men, depending if you're in the Rebel or the British Army. A company, which is a single base, is 40 men. Troop, a single base of 20 cavalry, and a battery, equaling 4 guns. If I mention a light battery, that is 2 guns. So, whenever I say there are 3 regiments on the field, you can know that there are up to 1,200 men entering the battle. Both sides are of equal size, though the British have advantages in some, whereas the Americans have advantages in other, namely cavalry. Where the Americans have a lot of cavalry, the British don't, but the British do have their navy. After their withdrawal from Newark, New Jersey, American commanders begin to pore over maps, and they decide to begin a rapid redeployment of forces. First thing, they're going to be sending a force to Fort Adams in northwestern New Jersey to fortify it. Next, they will begin sending out scouts from Trenton and from Fort Adams. The goal of these scouts, as was the British, was to determine the size of the enemy force, their location, and what they might do next. Fog of war is very fun in these campaigns, especially as an umpire. But our war games aren't just about war. We also include politics and intrigue. For instance, our American commanders have rolled a nat 20 to get a revised Minuteman system, meaning any British forces that attack any of these 3 colonies, I now get to roll a d4 die. And whatever number it lands on is how many militia companies appear randomly during that battle to assist the Americans. The Americans will make a daring move, and for the first time since the last campaign, re-enter New York with a single troop of cavalry to begin raiding along the Mohawk River. But they will also be placing a spy network in New York City, and this spy will be feeding them constant intelligence about British whereabouts and movements.
For my diplomatic role, then I would like to go with more defensive in Philadelphia, get like a civilian workforce, maybe call up some of the
What are you looking for? What are you looking to get?
outlying militiamen.
We're
I want
looking build
to
our shore batteries.
build my shore batteries. I know that's going to cost some foundry time. I know that's going to be lengthy campaign time, but I'd like to get a shore battery with however many guns come up.
Okay, probably 4.
I think it's 4, yeah.
Okay. Rolling to get shore batteries. overlooking the river for Philadelphia.
Yes, we'll place them wherever we want.
That's a nat 20.
All right.
That was a nat 20. That's pretty good. All right.
And with a nat 20, the rebels have gotten major shore batteries overlooking the river near Philadelphia. Now, you might have heard Nick mention that he wanted to make a diplomatic roll. This is what we call a special campaign roll. There are two types. The diplomatic roll, used for recruitment, speaking with key leaders, and making alliances. But also we have the intelligence roll. Normally you gather intelligence from your cavalry, but here, this is strategic level reconnaissance, trying to hear any rumors from farmers that might have been in New York walking down the road, in placing a spy like they already have in New York City, or planting deceptions to fool the enemy. This gives a three-dimensional look at warfare. It's not just about rolling dice and moving troops on the table. It's about trying to outthink your opponent. But these are just some examples as to what these roles can be used for. In your campaign, you can include other categories. But for us, any strategic level role is going to be included in one of these two. Now, back to the campaign. Do you remember in the early stages where the Americans sent out 2 frigates into the Atlantic? Let's see what those are up to.
You've received word from England belatedly, but there is raiding along England's coast. There are some coastal English cities that were bombarded by what appears to be an American frigate.
We want to roll to see if the next set of convoy escorts that we send east can handle that raider.
I'll tell you that next turn.
Okay.
During the British turn, as is the previous turns, they will also begin scouting American positions, but they keep refusing to move their main army to engage.
We want the British troops to move instead of sitting there doing nothing. We want them to try to engage one of our sitting forces.
The American frigate off the coast of England is causing havoc. However, a British frigate has been dispatched to find it. So I'm going to do every turn, including this one. I'm going to roll to see if they can locate and engage it.
One of them doesn't happen to be called the Poor Richard, does it? just curious.
For the Ranger.
Yeah. Yeah.
That frigate has located the American frigate and is moving to engage instantly.
I need them both.
The British, there has been a task force sent to locate your raiding force in the British Isles. They've located it in a cove and they're moving to intercept.
That is correct. And the very first battle for the campaign will not be in the Middle Colonies, but indeed thousands of miles away on the coast of England. Both sides are dead equal. Both are fifth-rate frigates, same firepower, same capabilities. It will just come down to the dice rolls.
How many shots do I get?
Just one, right? I assume. One round of fire. Ugh. I don't think we're
It's a
now.
misfire.
Fire miss.
The first British volley might have been a misfire, but the second one is a devastating critical hit, lighting the ship on fire.
Critical hits.
Step. Now I have to roll if I'm on fire and I don't put out the fire, I have to roll every turn to see how much damage I get.
For our rule set, a 10 to 12 is a critical hit, meaning the ship is now on fire. That ship's commander has 3 turns to put out the fire, or else it has reached the powder magazine and will explode. If you roll a 12 twice on the ship, then that is an instant catastrophic hit, meaning the magazine goes up.
Some of the tea. Alright.
The Americans have successfully crossed the T of the British, meaning they can bring to bear all their guns on the British all the way down their ship, with the British having very few guns in response.
7. So 7 and
And so ends the action off Whitehaven, with the American frigates escaping to fight another day, losing only 12 killed to the British 40. Though the Americans suffer very few killed, they will need to get repairs in order to be at full combat effectiveness. And the British did not achieve their objective. The American frigates are still on the loose and hunting on the English shores. That's it for today's episode. For battles, brushes, and everything in between, make sure you subscribe and join the community. Until next time, Generals, see you on the tabletop.